It's Fernando Ruiz Art.
Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. My name is Fernando Ruiz, and we are looking at Sexy Sabrina. Some of you guys who have been following the channel now, you may have remembered Sexy Sabrina from not that many videos ago, a couple videos ago. And in that video, which I'll link to in the description below, so if you missed it, don't worry. But in that video, I penciled what you see here. And it is a very sexy version of Sabrina with her cat friend sitting on a bunch of ghostly pillows. So just in time for Halloween, I figured I would get back into this one. Plus, a lot of you have asked to see this one get inked. So I always aim to please, so we'll be inking her tonight. Now, some of you guys may have seen me ink before in some of my past videos. I'll be using partially my trusty Pentel brush pen. And the brush pen, of course, is the nice solid body of a pen with the nice flexible brush-like tip that gives you a nice lush, nice thick to thin line. And the beauty of this, it is refillable. So that's an ink cartridge that I could pop off and on. I just put in a fresh one, so we are full and ready to go. So I'll be doing a lot with this one. In addition, I will be using some of my Pilot brush pens. Now, these are not refillable. These are totally disposable. These also have a much finer point. Now, you look at that point and you think that looks just like a pen. But it does have a little bit of flexibility. Gives you, it's a little bit firmer. It's a little bit of a finer, sharper point. So it is this one I like to use for that finer detail. When I really want a very thin line, I'll break this out. And like I said, this one is disposable. There's no way to refill it. Fortunately, it's not too expensive, about $6 per pen. As opposed to this one, the Pentel brush pen, which is about $19.95, and you get 2 refills with that. Comes in a little kit. Plus, I've got an assortment of Faber-Castell Pitt pens. And these pens, of course, have a hard but fine point to them. I've got 2 sizes here, the small and the extra small, for that extra fine detail when you really don't want your tool to move. Okay, so why don't I jump in? I'm going to start with the Pilot pen because I'm going to go in and do some of these hearts here. And I want the hearts to be nice and full looking, nice and curvy. So that's why I want them to have a nice flexible tip, but I also don't want the line to get too thick. So that's why this is the perfect tool for it. And you really should have like a real dummy stump pen that you don't care about to fill in your black shapes. I'm just cheating in the interest of time here by using this. Normally I would break out just one of my cheap pens to do that. So I'm going to do this heart too. Probably won't get to finish Sabrina here all in one sitting. But hopefully we'll get a good chunk of her done and enough to give you an idea of how I do things, of my inking process. You're seeing me work, you're probably wondering, why don't you get to the interesting stuff? Why are you fiddling with these little flying hearts. I usually try to work upper left to lower right. And the reason I do that is because, well, I happen to be right-handed. And this way, as I move down, I don't have to worry about the heel of my hand laying on top of stuff that I've just inked, stuff that is still wet. So this way, I just keep moving down, down, down across the entire page. Okay, so that's those two things. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move over to my, I'm going to go back to that Pilot pen for a second, because I want to do Sabrina's eyelashes. And I want to try and keep them nice and sexy. So I want to give them a little bit of a curve. Little bit of a curve. There we go. Now, a lot of people are always afraid of inking because ink is ink and there's no erasing. Now I'm going to go to my extra small Faber-Castell Pitt pen to go and do Sabrina's eyes. But you know, yeah, the inked line, yeah, it's permanent. It's a commitment. But don't be afraid to jump in. And really, something I always say about inking, I could probably tell you all of inking theory in one of these videos. But what's going to make you a good inker is practice. Lots and lots of practice. Get pencil drawings and ink over them. Not only your own, although that's fine too, but I think it helps you to ink over other people's drawings. Because sometimes when we're penciling, we're trying to take things easy for ourselves. And I know I do. I always say this when I talk about inking. I am not confident in my own inking enough to ink over loose pencils. When I pencil, really for anyone, but especially for myself, because I don't trust my own inks that much. What I do is I pencil very, very tightly, because what I want to do is when it does come down to inking, I want to make my inking job as much of a tracing job as possible. Okay. All right, so now I'm breaking out the Pentel pen, and we'll do part of her hair. And notice I like to pull, and by that I mean I'm pulling the whole, really my whole arm towards me. And you don't want to do what I just did, which is to cut off in the middle of a line like that, because it can be tough to pick up that line again. The good thing though, if you do ever screw up, you can go in, never freak out. There's usually ways of dealing with mistakes. So if your hand quivers a little, if a line isn't as straight as you want it, or not thick enough, you could always go in and doctor it, and no one will know. You could always go in and patch it up a little. So I'm going to move all around Sabrina a little bit, just to give you guys a different idea of how I will ink different areas. Like I said, I like to pull. I like to pull the pen towards me. That gives me the most control. Notice how I got a little thicker there on the curve. I also did that again where I cut off a line. So now I got to pick it up and go and match it up. And it may be a little shaky there, may not have picked it up totally neatly. So I'll just go in and hide my mistakes. And two, one thing about inking, you're so close to what you're doing. You know, I'm right on top of this. So if my hand quivers a little, and I get a little bit of a shaky hand, a shaky line rather, you know, that quiver in that line, that small little imperfection in that line is probably something nobody is going to pick up on. But I made it, so I know that it's there. And notice, I'm perfectly willing to turn Sabrina in whatever direction. Whatever direction I need to pull her towards me. To pull the pen towards me. Now, Sabrina is part of my sexy series. Some of you guys who've been with me for a while now have seen me. This is bothering me. I left the hair open up here. Sometimes a good way to fix a mistake, just make a line thicker than it was before. And sometimes you just got to break out the pen. So I'm going to kind of hide my stitching this way. So that's turning into the theme for this video. How to hide shaky lines. How to hide... Don't be afraid of the shaky lines. You know, I know a lot of people are terrified of inking because of that. But like I said, there are ways to deal with things. And a point I was trying to make before, but I think I got sidetracked. The more you do this, the better you get at it. So I said before, practice is 90% of getting good at inking. And that's absolutely true. You know, I mentioned before, I could teach you the theory, all of the theory of inking probably in one of these videos. But unless you sit down and you practice, you work these tools, you work your hand, you won't get good. You know, you're not going to improve. Now I will be on a different matter. I will be coloring my sexy Sabrina. So you guys may want to keep an eye out for that one. I know some of you guys like how I do the translucent negligee on the girls. So I'll definitely be doing that with Sabrina here. So make sure you keep an eye out for my upcoming videos. And certainly the old channel has been experiencing a nice little bump lately. I want to thank everybody who's been signing up, who's been subscribing. As always, I want to thank my regulars who show up for my my live chats for the premieres. You guys are great. You make this a lot of fun for me, and we always have a good time in those. So keep an eye out. We're almost done here. At least we got all of Sabrina's face done. Most of her head. Yeah, I might go in and put in a few lines into her hair, but I think we're just about wrapped up here. So come back and in our next video, maybe not the very next video, but a little bit down the line, we will be coloring Sabrina, so you could really watch her come together. This was just a nice big long curvy line I was dying to put in there. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in once again. Keep watching, keep drawing, keep inking, and keep practicing. Click like if you enjoyed this, subscribe if you have not, and don't forget to hit that bell, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks a lot.